Good morning, everyone. Once again, now we have started with our recording. I suppose that if you don't want to be recorded, you are allowed to leave so that you can play back later and listen to it. This is an interactive session, like I've already told you. We want you to be able to ask your questions to help you get clarity, for those issues that are not clear to you. Okay, my name is Dr. Nancy Miles Bafo Jemfi. I want to presume that this is a different set of students still for the same level 100 PHCL 102 philosophical questions. However, we met the first set yesterday, so we don't expect that this will be the same set of students. But there isn't any challenge if you feel that you still are able to come in with more questions. We haven't hit our maximum limit yet, so you are okay to be here if you still need some clarity. The session is meant to take questions and help clarify concerns that you may have. So you know that on the course site, which is primarily Sakai, you have course outline. Look at the name, it outlines the course. It tells you what the expectations are, what the aim and objective is, assessment scheduling, the materials that we are referring you to, because a lot is being said everywhere. So the lecturer and the examiner will have a focus. There is a focus for the content that he or she is engaging you on. And you are supposed to know that so that you are able to read and study alongside. Then there are the videos that are uploaded on a channel for you. And I think that makes your life easier. When you go to Sakai, you get the link, just one link, so that you don't have to be looking for links, social link, psycho link, philo link, critical thinking link for each topic, and then the question and answer sessions for those. I mean, that can be very, very confusing. Before long, you are studying content meant for, say, a cons. When you are going to write a PHCL, philosophy and classics paper, so what? So for this course, or for all the courses that, by the grace of God, I'm teaching this semester, I have given you just one link, a channel. It takes you to my site, my academic site, not the other site. So I'm careful when I'm even giving my name as the channel name, because you might find me in another context. Okay, but the academic channel is the Dr. Nancy Mazda for JMP channel. When you go there, you see all the courses I teach. Then you can pick the content as described in your resource. You will see the content labeling there. So you just pick UGRC 150 now. Make sure you just go and pick the philosophical questions. You go there, which topics, content do you need the lecture video on? Topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. Someone may say, oh, how will I know which topics have been treated so far? The course outline should guide you. Apart from the course outline, you should also look at how I've updated the resource lists. So when you go to that list for the video link at resources, you will see the topics that I expect that you should have studied already. I updated. As of yesterday, I updated because I uploaded something else. Then we work that way. So those will be my preliminary comments. In addition to the introduction and all the other things we've done, this session is not a lecture. It is meant to take your resources and your concerns. Then I help you clarify. And then finally, our in-person lecture that we are now graciously allowed to conduct by the university will start from next week. So you attend that. I'm speaking to the specific group now. Even if you are an alien, I'm speaking to that group. So I would want you to be minded. You attend your own session, okay? So let's take your questions. If you have any, keep hands up. I'm jotting those hands up. Please stop annotating. Stop annotating, okay? I mean, there's a formal setting. Change your 117332 something. Make it your official name. Let's have a very wonderful time. Address me as your doctor. I will address you by your name. Nice, and then we have a very fruitful discussion. Keep up your hand if you have a clarity that you seek on lecture 1 or presentation 1, presentation 2, and presentation 3. I'm jotting them, so keep the hand up, and then we will continue in a jiffy.
Yeah. Hello, madam.
So I see only one hand up. Do I take only Jaden's concern and address it, and then afterwards we disperse? I'm saying that if there are questions, could you kindly keep your hands up so I can have a regulated way of responding to them? Jaden, Nishira, Leroy, please ask your question or point of clarification.
Please, it's about Kwame Jeke's view on philosophy.
Okay, so
I'm kind of confused.
Let me help you out with the name, then you continue. Okay, the name is Jechi. We appreciate him a lot, so I don't want you to mispronounce his name. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
his name is Jechi. You pronounce the KYE as if you are saying chi. Push him, Chile. So it's Jechi. All right. And then he said, what about his philosophy are you confused about? Please.
The conceptual response to practical existential problems.
Wait, what bit of it don't you understand?
The conceptual response.
Okay, so very good. So we'll take it from there. When we say someone is responding conceptually, the word concept means what? Idea. Idea. So it is not tangible. You are conceptually responding to a person. It means you are not doing a lab. You are not going to do a lab on the person. It's not like you are going to the field to look for data and come and analyze. I'm not going to do questionnaires. What you are doing is interrogating concepts, opening out what? Terms, asking for the meaning of a term, for example, like democracy. Yesterday we had a very wonderful session, interactive session. Asking for what do we mean when we say we know? Why is it that we call the person red-handed, stealing, but we still have to take the person to court? Because it could be that what we thought we saw wasn't correct. Yes, you saw the hand entering the soup, but can you then say that you caught a thief? What if he was removing a dead fly from the soup? So when we start conceptually reflecting, so that the concept there is ideas. We are reflecting on ideas. We are using ideas, asking questions about truth, about reality, about knowledge. What does it mean to be certain? Paul says, now I know. So all that time that he was seeing visions and healing people and preaching, he didn't know anything. He says, now I know. Afe, now I know. It means that there is knowing and there is knowing. When a lady said, oh, so I now know who you really are. Hey, this guy. So is that how you are? Is that how you are? But didn't you know him before you are now knowing how he is? So now it is no longer a mere question of knowledge. It is now a philosophical question of what it means to you. Now we are saying that when we are conceptually, so the word concept, when you are thinking the ideas, you are reflecting on concepts, terms, meanings, supposed truths. The reason why we say, I give it to God, or someone may even think of being moral, perhaps may, is because the person believes that there will be judgment. They trust the final arbiter. They believe that if human beings mistreat them or the system goes against them, there is a final arbiter. So someone's belief in the non-physical can influence what he or she considers to be right, wrong, whether I'm giving you an A or a B, or exploiting you and taking bribes so that people can enter into the university or something, may be influenced by my conception of the non-physical. And so Kwame Jechi says, when we are doing philosophy, when we say we are doing a discipline, we are doing it, we are not just reading it. It means we are reflecting on concepts. So when you come and we are engaging, it will sound abstract. What are these people thinking about life after death? What is truth? Why don't we know truth? Can we know anything for certain? Why are they asking such questions? It sounds so abstract. It sounds so abstract, as if it's removed from what? Actuality, as if it is not practical. But that conceptual reflection, thinking conceptually, has an aim. The aim is to respond to respond to practical problems of existence. So there is no philosophical question that doesn't ultimately lead towards what? Dealing with actual problems of human existence, from law to politics to religion to society, culture. I mean, two ethnic groups may be fighting their heads off because of what they consider to be. I gave that example. They consider to be what? Their identity. Someone says, you can't pray at that place. That place is what defines us. Another person said, no, 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 no. That is where Abraham was, so and so and so. And so that belief, that assumption, that presupposition will ground how people are behaving. And so philosophers reflect and ask those questions, not just going around asking questions that do not have any use, but questions that aim at telling you why you should not commit instant justice. For example, why is it that the person was caught red-handed, the woman, the secretary, was caught red-handed on the bus? I mean, flat. They are all in swimsuit, flat on the bus, map to map. Hello, this university, eh? Allow me to teach. And then you are telling me that we should wait and go to court and this. What if she was rather resuscitating the boss? She actually came with her posh husband. And the boss also came with the wife sitting over there. But she can swim. She's a master swimmer. So when the boss was drowning, and he's a good boss, her husband said, go ahead, save your boss. Even the wife said, oh, Auntie Secretary, help me, help me. All you saw was a picture of the secretary lying flat on the boss. How do you interrogate that? How do you know? So by then, what you studied in Descartes, whom we will engage, or Plato's claim that the real may not necessarily be what is seen, or Paul of the Bible's claim that reality is not, it's not what we are seeing that is real. If you want to know the real thing. So you see, I've spoken Paul, that's religion. I've spoken Plato, that's typical philosophy. I've spoken Descartes, looking at the issue from an epistemological viewpoint. That is philosophy, reflecting. So when you come and we are asking what is knowledge, what is truth, what is democracy, these are just when you are approaching philosophy, say from an analytical approach. We are reflecting abstractly, but we have a focus, according to Kwame Gyekye. Conceptual response. So you are responding conceptually. You are telling people, could it be that we have a wrong conception of what it means for something to be a sin? Maybe that is why we are thinking that this is LGBTQT. It's very long. I always get it wrong. Maybe that is why we think it is wrong. Maybe that is why some people think it is right. Could it be that it is how we are conceptualizing it? So let's open it out. Is it a matter of rights, or is it a matter of being a human person, or is it a matter of social belongingness? What is at stake when we are discussing LGBTQ, for example? Now, that reflection will engage notions like, what does it mean for an action to be right? The meaning of right, not an instance of right, not an example of right, okay? But the meaning of the concept right, wrong, good, bad. When we start doing that, we are doing ethics, reflecting conceptually, so that we do what? Family says, so that ultimately we can now go and apply that reflection, which will elicit several responses. Then we have different perspectives to an issue. We will now be able to use it to deal with practical problems of existence. So at the law court, we'll say, yes, we saw him. The woman was right on top of the man. So that is why they got angry. His but we want to investigate what that means. We saw his hand. He was holding the phone. When they were shouting, tip, 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 when we tell you, he was all holding it right behind the lady whose phone got missing. He was standing there. So we suspect him as the thief, but we will investigate. Someone said, what else are you going to investigate? He was holding the phone, Gani, which other? Don't you dream, my dear brother and sister, that you are going to do, you may kiss the bride with that lady, that in actual wakeful life, you are never able to come. Which role level, you see? So you have never been able to even approach her and say, hello, sister, you are beautiful. When you see her, do you have a dog? How did your mother feed the dog this morning? Which, that's all you do. In actual wakeful experience, you are unable to approach this, but you can see her in a dream. And then together, you are getting married, and they are saying you may kiss the bride, and you are just about kissing this. It's so real in the dream until you wake up. You see things, you hear things. Sometimes you see a cow. Those of you who like to dream a lot, a cow chasing you so real that you are all shaky. But sometimes when you wake up, you even run, only to realize that you were dreaming then. Now the question is, when it was going on, when you were going to do you may kiss the bride, it was so real. You saw it. It was so real until you wake up. Descartes' cases, are we not going to wake up some few minutes to realize that what we thought we saw, the guy was holding the phone, we thought we saw it. Could it be that we were dreaming? Someone was, madam, you and this your Descartes. But we know the difference between dream and wakeful. You know it only when you wake up. When you are dreaming, you know. So when you come and we are discussing something like what I've just summarized for you, Descartes' dream argument, which you will find, I think that's the fourth topic or so, when we are discussing the question of knowledge and certainty. It will sound as if, why do people come to school and come and study? Something like that. That maybe what we are saying is not real. Maybe, but hey, this one, Naim go chop. I hope I said it. The issue is, it is an abstracted discussion. You abstract the question of knowledge, and you are dealing with it dispassionately to open it up. Our senses could deceive us. We thought we saw it this way. We thought he is not the one. He couldn't have been the one who stole the money. He couldn't have stabbed the ballot box. But could we have been deceived by our senses? That's what Descartes is asking in that paper. So as abstract as it is, that conceptual analysis or reflection that we engage in, according to Kwame Dechi, is not empty. It ultimately aims at what? Responding to problems of existence. And so problems like what? Like now that we know that we cannot fully trust our senses, we will engage that paper so you know how he argues and what case he makes and why we should be careful. We should take so-called pictorial evidence with a pinch of salt. Then ultimately, what proposal does he give? What offer does he make? When you engage that, then you see, say, oh, so that philosophical reflection, that conceptual analysis, conceptual interrogation, we're interrogating those matters, all those things we were doing was aimed at helping to respond to, say, a legal issue at the law court, was helping to solve a marital problem by the sociologist, was helping to resolve some prophetic claim that has come. You see? But at the time that the discussion was ongoing, it sounded like all abstract, not directly applicable to life. So Kwame Dechi says, until we make philosophy apply to practical problems of existence, we haven't done any work at all. So whilst we reflect conceptually, the target is to do what? To deal with specific, useful problems of existence. That is what Dechi is saying. And so you see, I've mentioned reflection, conceptual analysis, a supposed abstract. Abstract means as if it doesn't touch on everyday life issues. It's as if we are out. No doctor will go and do their trial and error of their drug or their finding on what human beings who are alive. Will you want them to do trial and error on you on a potentially dangerous drug? No, they will start with maybe a rat or some other animal to test it So you abstract it, you take the issue out of actuality when we are discussing it. You make it away. So you are asking, what is truth? Can there be life after death? What if this? All in debate to come to a certain perspective about the matter. What is justice? But we are already practicing some form of justice. Yes, we are. But we can make it better. So we abstract. Is justice giving everyone his due? Think about it. If we gave everyone what he or she is exactly due, there will be problem. Look at the banking hall. The pregnant woman walks in and has to come and join the queue. She should also join. Everyone is due. So you were a very fit brother. Maybe you just want some 50 Ghana to go and buy data to watch something on Netflix. It's not really an emergency. Then a pregnant woman in labor. You see me with my pregnant woman example. She's in labor and they need some 500 Ghana to rush her to the hospital. The issues are not the same. So would you want to reinterrogate your notion of what it means to administer justice? So when you come to the philosopher's reflection room, they are philosophers, they will ask, what is justice? That is what you will come and see, and you say, look at them. We are already applying justice. We go to law court and they are there thinking, what is justice? And someone says, no, justice may not necessarily be giving everyone what is due, but it may be discriminating to ensure fairness. That's John Rawls. You study him in 300. So we have special students among us. And I appreciate them so much. Very, very apt most of the time. Okay. So you want us to start work and everybody, justice means equal treatment. So everybody come and sit down. We all sit. When we start work, 7:30, the exam, 7:30, we end 8:30. Everybody equal. We are treating everybody equally. The person has a different ability, cannot see like you would. To even locate the seat, it will take a while. So if I say everybody, 7:30 to 8:30, is that just? This is not an inadequacy. This is a person having a certain different ability. See, I'm not saying a disability, it's a different ability. You can't see. Maybe the person has a challenge with how he or she is working. So he or she has to take another route to be able to get to where you just jump, take 2 steps and sit down. If I say everybody is equal, we are the same. Therefore, justice just means give equal treatment to every other person. It will mean that there shouldn't be any exception to the rule. Now, can that be what justice is? So what I've just asked you is a philosophical question. I'm not telling you to say, but what does the books of the nation say? I'm not asking you to give me the legal perspective. I'm looking for a philosophical reflection of that. Checking the watchman. So there is the law, there are the assumptions, there are the beliefs. But when we start reflecting conceptually, we're looking at the ideas grounding those beliefs to help improve or to give different perspectives to it. With the aim of what? Dealing with practical problems of existence, existential problems. Then we are doing philosophy. Not with the aim of showing people that they don't know anything or showing that you know. That is not philosophical. Philosophers are not like that. They are very humble, intellectually very strong. And a strong intellectual is the one that is not throwing their weight about everywhere, shouting. No. It's the empty barrels that make the most noise. A true philosopher is solid, very assertive, but very solid. Will point out things to you and be very calm, has a calm demeanor. And I say that doesn't mean you can't be emotive or emotionally driven. But I'm saying that in terms of academic prowess, the great minds will just sit and say, okay, so I have to cover my hair before I pray. That's beautiful. That is there. I see it written there. May I know what I should do if I'm driving? I'm falling into a ditch and I want to pray. Should I pack and look for my scarf before I attempt prayer? You see how I'm asking? I'm not fighting, but I'm helping us rethink the assumption that being holy means to cover your hair before you pray. Okay? The principle is right, but what is the spirit of the law? That law, what is the spirit behind it? When we start doing that, we are reflecting on the idea. Before long, we will see that, oh, well, okay, so maybe we emphasize modesty, decency, cover up, Sometimes it's even the earring is so big that I'm getting distracted as I'm teaching, or I'm distracting others as they are listening to me. The earring keeps banging. So can we just emphasize being modest, being decent, so that I don't say I'm wearing a girl's dress and it is a skirt. And I'm a lady, yes, I'm not wearing a guy's clothing, I'm wearing a skirt. But when I bend down, Charlie, it's so bad. Maybe it would have been better to wear a knickerbocker, the big knicker. You may call it a men's clothing, but it will achieve what the spirit of that law is. Conclusion in reaction to my friend's very intelligent question is this. So reflection, conceptual analysis aimed at what? Dealing with problems of existence is what Kwame Chechi calls philosophy. And I'll ask you that question. That's why I used quite some time to explain and gave illustrations. That's what my questions would try to do, to ask you to show with practical illustrations why or what Kwame Chechi means when he claims that philosophy is responding conceptually. The response is not a practical, it's a conceptual, reflect on the concept, but with the aim to improve or deal with what problems of it. You should be able to put flesh to it. It may be you can cut across from religion to law to society to psychology, dealing with people's psyche, what have you. You are looking at someone's face. Every I'll take your question in a minute. You look at the person and then don't go to friends, don't critique them. And you look at her, you tell her, hey, so is there something good going to come out of you at all? This is my son. Hey, you know what you have done? Oh, but this one there, it is a TA asymmetry. That's for TA asymmetry. We all know that is how it is. As soon as you say that, do you know what? You just spoke that into the person psychologically. So in level 200, when we deal with the mind-body problem, you would enter the class and you will only see us discussing mind, body, what have you. Are they causally connected? You see, you only come and see us doing mind, body problem. And you think, oh, mind, body, what has it? I'm telling you that it is only one thing that you say that can demoralize the whole student body. They might not do well. One thing. You ask for one day, when you come and say, what do they know? Maybe you thought you were just speaking in jest. What you are saying that is going through the body, the mind, the physical ears like that, can have an effect on how the non-physical part of the person operates. But another person could say, you can do it. This one, you can do this week, it's nothing. Just keep your mind at it, do this. And then it will, because of the interaction, says data, between mind and body, you can use that to psych a whole team to victory. A whole nation can rise up, and before long, they will go beyond what Dubai and others have done. It is in the psyche. That's why charismatic leaders mostly are able to drive people to do things. So I'm just showing you with all these instances. You see, I moved from church to the law court. I can go to the medical place like in some minutes. The doctor, you can just tell the patient that this is your situation. I haven't seen that in all my 30 years of practice. I haven't seen such a difficult situation. But I think it is still possible because it is people like you that help our research. So let's have hope. I want to speak religion. Be determined. I think we can do it together. So we are going to start our maybe what is the word? We are going to start a certain training schedule. Therapy. We are going to do it together. You know that the person has 2 days to live. Sincerely, by your records. You can't change it. You don't have to lie to him either. So you are telling him the truth. That this situation, we have never seen it. Per our records, in 2 days' time, you are gone. These are the options we have. But we could consider this possibility and see. When you do that, you are dealing with the mind-body problem. Just that you are not saying it there. But that reflection we had on mind and body, which when you come to the philosophy class and we are engaging, sounds like, Charlie, so I pay school fees to come and sit here to do mind-body problem. That is what is being applied there. Yes, the person's mind is lifted, mental and non-mental part. When I say mind, I'm not talking brain, you will understand it. I'm talking, if you are a religious person, I'm talking spirit. I'm talking the non-physical part of it. But others won't call it spirit, they'll call it mind. Some will call it soul, and so on. So you are able to lift people up, and sometimes you haven't given them any drag. The reflection, I end with this on that question. The reflection, the philosophical reflection on questions of metaphysics, of epistemology, of ethics, are aimed ultimately to deal and respond to problems of existence from generation to generation, from discipline to discipline. That is Kwame Gyekye. Likely a compulsory question for your final exam. So I have spent some more time to elaborate because your friend asked. I didn't come with that note. I don't have any notes. But your friend asked an important question, and I took the opportunity to explain. We'll record this also and upload so that others who want to may benefit. Very good. I'll take Ephraim. Oh, the other hand went down. I didn't write it down. Ephraim, please ask your question.
Okay. Madam, thanks very much for that.
Oh, please keep it up. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the questions are about 3. So
no problem. Let me write them down.
Okay, so I think in the video on ethics, you mentioned something about logic, or let me say, religion versus ethics, so to say, or moral versus ethics. So you mentioned donating to the orphanage. It is both legal. Let me put it here. It is both legal and then ethical.
So it's a question. I kept this as a question.
Yes.
It has a question, but there's a reason for that, because I know someone may contend that. Some don't even think there are altruistic acts. Altruistic act is an act that was done to benefit others. I, the person who did it, own benefit. Something there is no act like that. That the person who is a philanthropist also benefits, and that his or her benefit is that they feel good when people say, "Oh, Dr. Miles gave so much to so and so people." The funds they get is still a benefit. So some people think there can't be altruistic acts. That's why all the examples given there are question marks. So it means that could it be this? Could it be that this one is this and not that? So I allow for your own reflection. Philosophy wants you to think for yourself based on the current discourse. Okay, but very good. So continue.
Okay. So the one on Ijabin Tumtu, I was wondering if you want to sit on the fence, is it possible?
Which one is this? There are no fences in philosophy. I know why you
okay,
asked.
So
yeah.
In the sense that, let's say, so in the sense that, let's say the two contending parties are that you give the person the blood, and in the long run the person doesn't want it, or in the other place you don't give him the blood and you go by the patient's autonomy, or I think that's the word. So
which one will you
in the case, Madam, like I said, is it possible you can sit on the fence? And I'm come to explain the fence that I'm talking about. So I think in medicine, or they have something they call hospice or hospices, where the person could be put at that place in order for him to move on to the next destination. In that sense, it gives both people that For instance, if he was not in the right sense of mind to have made the decision as at that point, he could maybe change his mind later on within that space of time. Then again, if he wishes not to take the blood in the long run, he goes off to the next place. Then that solves the question. Does that put me on the fence?
The thing is, we don't have a yes or no answer for these issues. What we have is, you see how dicey it is. I can play the devil's advocate throughout. I posted the discussion time with the other students. Okay. And I showed you that I could take this position. The next minute I could take that. That's what philosophy does. It tries to empathize. You try to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. You do that because you want to make sure that you understand. So if you go to the course outline, the introductory lecture, I added to the lecture 1. You listen through to the end and then study it alongside the outlined course. I'm talking to the class now, not only if the philosopher is trained to be able to put himself or herself in the shoes of others. It is a training. It's called being objective. Objective, not you the subject, but the object. The reason is that is one of the ways of improving your judgment of an issue. You can't speak always from how you see things. You think that, but I've given her everything she needs. A good house. I'm talking about a wife now. A good house. I mean, food, money. If she wants to do Brazilian, she will do it. She wants to change it every morning. It's fine. What is her trouble? She says she doesn't see me often. Now, what at all will I do for her? And the husband, actually, who will then do? You are failing to see things from the woman or the wife's, that woman's perspective. Why is it that they are going to stand on the field and they are speaking a language they don't understand? These people are crazy. Then another person says, why is it that look at he's putting his forehead, they go boom, 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 5 times every day? When we are waiting to buy meat, I have a friend, a Muslim friend. Look, if you get there and he's going to pray, you lie, you brought 100 million. Stand there with you, he's not interested. And he'll pray there. So you can see meat, fresh meat, sitting in the shop. And he's sitting there, and you have your money, and he's praying, you finish praying. When he finishes and you are there, he says, if you are not there, it's okay. Then you go and say, well, I can watch it, which is wasting our time. You should understand. Understanding means you put yourself in the shoes of the person. That is their faith. When you understand people, you are even better able to help them. So that is what philosophy trains you to do. And so when you are writing philosophically, those who are asking, 1 or 2 people will ask, so how do we ask? We know that they say we should know how to write philosophically. I keep chipping it in. You have to state your view about the issue, but most importantly, identify the possible challenge that others may have with your view. The possible counter response. You see, someone may ask that, well, so I prefer the consequences of an action over the rule. If I have to steal to save my mother, I've saved my mother, so that is better than this thing about that shall not steal, that shall not steal. Didn't it benefit someone? That's another topic we'll deal with. Consequentialism versus deontology. I think that is our next after the business. I use the business ethics to deal with that concept. Okay. Someone will say, no. You may be doing the right thing, you think. But if you apply the wrong rule, it is wrong. You can't steal. Stealing is wrong, period. Whether you use that stealing to save the poor or save your dying mother, it is wrong. I'm using that to make a point here. That the philosopher will always look out for what someone else may have against the view he or she is holding, and then respond to it. That is where your strength is. You bring what your colleagues say. It may be argued that consequences have their challenges. We are unable to measure the full consequences of our action. Nonetheless, I think that I would rather go for immediate consequences as a guide to my decision making than just following rules as if I were a machine, because situations may vary and so the rule may not apply. That is the philosophical view you hold, and this is how you defend it, and you can even outline possible counter response and deal with it. That is it. I may not agree with you, but you have responded to the question. So philosophers don't have a yes. Yesterday I had the same scenario. Someone said, "So, Doc, please, if it was yours, what would you do?" I said, I will be able to defend what I would have done, but I want you to be able to defend what you would have done. So I'm guiding you to see the issues. So the discussions will bring your alternative views out. Then I'll show you, what if someone raises this counter response? What if someone said this? Then you see, then you better maybe you may change your view afterwards. The evangelist among you, maybe you'll be able to make someone change from one grouping, religious grouping, to the other. See, the political scientists or the politicians among you, someone may be able to move someone from a property owning democracy to a social democracy by how he or she is able to argue, present the views, and convince you, because the person anticipates what you would raise as a counter response and already has a response for you. So you sit there and say, Charlie, you're right. I can write my exam on Saturday, for example. It doesn't really undermine my commitment to God as an Adventist, for example. Someone may say, no, I hear you, but I still think that there is an aspect you are not seeing, blah, blah, blah. Then you are engaging. Not force. Not people should see the way you see it. The world is bigger than that, my dear. So I won't give you a yes or no answer. And I've used your response, your question, to show how to respond philosophically to a paper and how to be convinced. This thing, if you do it well, all your other disciplines, it will show. It will show in it, because you write with tact, with depth. You write, and it solves problems. And you are not throwing words about because others are saying something. So you are narrating and parroting and reporting things that Socrates or Miles or Aristotle said. We are not so much keen on what someone said. That's a narration. You need it to build the argument. But after saying that, so now you do your philosophy. So according to philosophy is so and so and so and so. This means, in my view, that's when you start doing philosophy. In my view, that means if we do philosophy and we don't do that, it means that. An example of a practical application of philosophy is when so and so and so and so and so question helps us to deal with so and so and so and so issue of life. Sometimes we may be caught in a fix because philosophers may be overly extreme in some cases. Then you can say, for example, like Socrates, who apparently will not even wear a shoe or something because he wants to be so modest to the point of being quote and unquote so dirty. But if we take away such extremes, philosophy is contributing because blah, 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 full stop. That's how you write. Whoever is reading it who has an objection, before he gets to his objection, is there already. You have admitted that, and then you have responded to that. So you won't get that from me for any of the questions as philosophical questions. It will rather elicit your view so that we can now mix them all up and improve upon our society. So yesterday I asked some pertinent questions. It's what is going on currently by some folks. Really, church? That's one. Are we still practicing democracy? Not in Ghana alone, worldwide. See Trump's concerns. No. Is there anything like justice currently? What is right? Should I go hungry? When you people are telling me that Galamsey is not good, me too, I'm hungry. So how do we ensure justice? What do we mean by justice? Treating everybody the same or discriminating? Sometimes we may give some people some advantage, supposedly, but it is because they are already disadvantaged. Look at the field. When people are doing the 400 meters, do they all start from the same starting point? No. When I was a child, I felt that they were cheating the one in the sixth lane or so. He was cheating the other because he is far ahead. Then the one in the first lane is further back down there. Then the others in the middle in that order, like steps. Why is it that they do that? Because when they take the bend, when they are curving, the one at the sixth lane will have a longer distance to cover. So it is really equal, but discriminatory. That is justice as fairness. For example, philosophical reflection brought that out from John Rawls. Okay, so Ephraim, I used your question also to help bring some clarity to how to answer philosophical questions again, and then for you to consciously work towards presenting your views, being assertive. That is how all our papers will be. So you read it and look at the alternatives. If you give the person blood by force because you think that you are the boss or you know, and then the person dies or he doesn't die but gets deformed, or the person is alive but tells you, yes, you have done your bit, but I am suing you because you just killed me. It is someone else's life you have put inside me. The life is in the blood. So if you put someone else's blood inside me, you have killed me. I don't exist again. So I'm suing the hospital. They can take your license for that. So you don't give people help that they haven't asked you for. You have to respect people, people's autonomy so much so that you allow them to choose whether they want to get an A or an F. Don't give them an A because you think, hey, A there is good. I told your friends yesterday, because the person may just want to fail. Maybe he wants to fail that paper so that daddy doesn't let him do that course. Then he can go and do fashion or football. Then you are here saying that, oh, level 100, they are suffering. So let me pass. Did they ask you for that? So respect people's autonomy so much so that when they choose to get an A, give them an A. When they choose to get an F, give them an F. That's autonomy at work. Very good question. Okay, Priscilla here. Priscilla, ask your question. You are the follow-up. Let's take Priscilla. I'll take it a second round of questions.
Okay, madam. Please, I want to ask, is philosophy about giving people the benefit of the doubt? And in terms of justice, what if the person confesses? Are we still to delve into the matter, or we are to leave it? And if we are to delve into the matter, won't it waste time and then resources? That's what I want to know.
Please clarify for me again. Clarify your question. You said that can we give people the benefit of the doubt?
Yes, please. It's philosophy about giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like if, like the situation that happened in Kaswa, where the boys were found, the boys who killed the younger boy, are we to still delve into the matter whilst we have found evidence that they are the ones who did it? Are we to give them the benefit of the doubt? Is that what philosophy or philosophical questions is about?
Okay, so philosophy deals with so many questions. I'm sure you've seen the video. We deal with epistemology, metaphysics. What is epistemology? The question of knowledge and certainty and justification for our claims of knowledge. So when we say we have gotten the evidence, you know how we have gotten evidence in the past that ultimately led to our sanctioning the wrong person. Sometimes we even sentence the person to death, killed the person, and then we later realize that we were wrong because we are humans. People can lie on others. You see, when the most recent videos on the ANAS expose came up, there was a lot being said left, right, center. I'm sure you followed the discussion. So the fact that you have, we asked the question, not just giving benefit of doubt per se, but when it comes to the question of knowledge, which is just one branch of philosophy, just like medicine is not all about taking care of the eye, for example, there is more to it, different branches. Okay? But I use some illustrations to help you see how philosophy or the philosophical questions tend to help. And if the results are there all over the place. Who wants to go and sentence anybody to death now? Did you give life? Life is sacrosanct. We don't give it. So what grounds do we have to take it, regardless of what the person did? Okay. So it is just for the question of certainty that I raised those examples. The question of knowledge, epistemology. I haven't even gone to metaphysics. Do you know why? One of the reasons why someone wouldn't want to follow up at a matter and drag it all, they say, oh, don't worry. God will recompense. So I can only I can only fight to a certain extent. I have to let it go. But if the person doesn't believe in a non-physical reality, what is left? It will have an influence on their morality. They won't care about anything if there is no conception about the question of metaphysics. So it is a metaphysical question, yes, but it has implications on real life. So I asked you that the one that you call evidence, now that we have evidence, what is evidence? That's what we are interrogating. If we are convinced that, oh, it might be that there might be some doubt, but Charlie, the way these people were stoning the guy with the stone, I said, could we be dreaming? Could the guys have had mental problems? It could be deliberate, and most times there are deliberate acts. That's why we will discuss free will and determinism. It is also on your course. Do people act freely? And yet, all the time. It is a philosophical question, a speculative one indeed, not an analytic one. When did you choose to be born a female? Let me ask you that question. That's Ortega's paper. Did you choose? Who went to discuss with God? That is if you believe in God. I do. I believe in God strongly. So did you go and ask permission from God that, look, say, Daddy, whatever you want to address him by? You say, this world that I'm going into, I want to be born a sister. Or I want to be born a brother. Who decided? Did you choose? Do you know the implications that has? At that time of the month, when brothers are jumping around, you are in a corner. When you are all going to write the same exam, and you have all gone to do the thing that you shouldn't do. Or your husband and wife, you have all gone into the room at that time of the night. Okay? You are not pregnant. The pregnancy, you are bearing it. The man doesn't bear. Someone will say, oh, dog, but that one, you may decide not to even, you can just go and do in vitro. They'll put the baby in some machine or something. So it shouldn't have an effect. Okay. Did you decide the parents that should give birth to you? And where on this earth you should be born? You see that you are laughing. Did you choose that? Hey, some of us, if we were given that opportunity, I'm not speaking for anybody, you let me speak for myself. Decide which country do you want to be born in. Look at the opportunities that some people have. Some people just get pregnant when they are about the road, then they travel out. Go and give birth there so that their child will have a different nationality. Why? Did you choose that? So if you didn't choose all that, then you are now in a certain setting, my dear friend. Even what you could chop, my dear friend, what you could eat. Someone this online session you're having, they don't have phone. They don't have phone. They have to work hard, no father. So when you are there, people should be serious. You see, how is it that they are not serious? They think they're giving the exam. Only phone to receive call or send one. WhatsApp, no. School fees is still working. Day and night. He doesn't want to be a thief. So the starting point is not the same. If such a person, God forbid, becomes an armed robber, can we say he freely, look at that, that is the philosophical, he freely chose to be an armed robber? You shouldn't do. But if the person becomes an armed, was he determined to be an armed robber or he chose freely? That is the discussion there. He didn't choose, maybe, but did he choose freely? He chose. But did he choose freely? Maybe not. Maybe yes. Do you see my answer? Maybe not. Maybe yes. We will discuss that. So I'm just trying to show you something. It's not just even giving people benefit of the doubt. You yourself, give yourself the benefit of your own doubt, because you may not be certain about anything. May not be. Just so that we are careful when we are also judgmental and also we have arrived. So much so that when we are told, rise, kill and eat, Peter, then Peter is telling the Holy Spirit that this thing is unclean. Yes, who are you to tell me what is clean and what is unclean? Here I go with my philosophy, my religious semantic. My dear sister, so philosophical questions are asked to help improve our human institutions, our dealings with other people. That is what it aims at doing. And it addresses, the focus is not just the general claims going around, but the beliefs, the assumptions, the presuppositions we hold. What is the right thing? What is right? The criteria for right and wrong. That is what is enforcing our principles of justice and how we administer justice. That's why Rosemond Bonnie Ekpiapimpolo was, is the boy not her own child? But, if a father rapes his own daughter, it's not his own daughter. When you rear chicken, don't you eat some? Why should you come and say the girl hasn't complained? You say the state versus Eja Asimesi. What has the state got to do with anything? It is because of our principle, what we hold to be right. What it means for an action to be right. That is what is grounding all these other systems and structures. See? So if the philosopher comes asking questions, the question will address fundamental beliefs, the pillars that ground all our other institutions. Like questions like what is right, what is wrong, what is justice? Is man free? Is there life after death? Can we know anything for certain? When we are asking those, then we are helping to have a better view of those assumptions that hold our lives together. Okay. So I would end with this. Yesterday I asked some of your colleagues. A lady currently is with a guy. They are in love. They are good friends. They've known each other for a while. They can't marry because of what they think marriage should be. The ceremony of marriage should be. They are waiting for limousine. You had a brother's allowance too. I said it yesterday in that video. His allowance or his salary is 60 Ghana. Who's penny pay? Your definition of marriage is limousine plus 3 lunch tables plus Dubai holiday. And the man is bypassing this and he's enjoying you free until he gets limousine money. You have your second child already. You're waiting for limousine. What are you doing? What you are doing now should reflect. Thank you very much. Sandra, please ask your question.
Hello, madam.
Yes, or your contribution.
Madam, please, on the issue of Rosemond Brown.
Yes, please.
Will we say philosophically, she said she in the beginning, no one knew that if you...
No one knew that what? I missed that part, please. Auntie Adwa. Auntie Adwa, did I hear why? Please come again. I'm missing that bit of your contribution. You said no one knew that what?
Like that was your own child. You could be, she was not in the known.
That what? Madam, we missed that bit.
People really knew that if you go naked on social media with your own kid. Yes, if you go naked.
Ignorance of the law, my dear sister.
It's your own child.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Social media.
What I'm saying is ignorance of the law.
I was asking why is it that she couldn't be pardoned for it?
I don't want us to go into the merits or demerits of
yes.
it. I just use that to show you that you can have your own, your own daughter. You are the father. Your own daughter. You gave birth to her. You took care of her. You have 6 of them. If I groom my chicken and they grow, I should feel free to take one and enjoy anytime, especially if the chicken is not arguing. This child is enjoying what I'm doing. They say it's incest. When you go, they say it is the state versus the man. The child is 14 years. She opens the door, Gafara, and that is Gafara, then the man comes. You don't know. It is the state versus the man, not the child versus the man. His own child. So ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But then we can now start interrogating. We could say, so is that justice? I'm showing you some philosophical questions that you will be seeing and why they are important. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. I said that also yesterday. So why should some people be the mediators between us and God? Now it's religion, so Bible, if you know that. When the same scripture that you are referring to that makes you the mediator, human being mediator between you and God. That same scripture is saying people can now freely come to God. So he was just doing an internal examination of the beliefs of the people. He's not going outside of his own religious grouping. What happened to him ultimately? He was questioning, I shift it again to now politics. He was questioning, why should we all, human as we are, have issues? One group of people with a certain skin color can go to a certain kind of church or club or whatever, or school, even children. Can you imagine? But when the skin color is different, they can't go to that school. They have to go to the other one. It was the law, my dear friends. It was the law then that certain schools are not for blacks. Some are for blacks, some not. Even churches, the Holy Spirit cannot descend if black man enters that church. That's how we explain that. So it was a white church versus a black church. The man came and said, you people are contradicting yourselves. We are contradicting ourselves. Why? You say freely given. You say we are all human beings. The blood has got to. Why is that? There is a church for blacks. This is the blacks that will go and clean that church. As for cleaning and waiting, these are all parts to. I'm showing you the philosophy's contribution to society and social structure and the price they pay for it sometimes. So you see that it is not something like you are just asking them questions. Can you clarify what you mean? So now that you are also a human being like me and you have faults like me, how do you know that? By the same scripture. How is it that I have to come and confess? You see that now you touch places that are not comfortable for others. That is why philosophers oftentimes face, when I say philosophers, I'm talking about people that they come out like Socrates, that I am going to be a gadfly. I will disturb this system until they hear me. or I label my own savior, Jesus Christ, as a philosopher. You see what they did to him? Because he will look at you and say, you people, you tithe mint and cities, and you take all of that, even the poor. But when you finish, you don't do what the scripture says. There are weightier matters than collecting money from people. So he said, who? Jesus Christ. Do you know which people killed him? Martin Luther King. Do you know who killed him? He was killed. Or he died. Let's say that he died. I could list several. Socrates even ran away because you have been wrongly judged. I'm talking about, so he says, I'm not running. I will not justify their wrong by committing wrong. I know they've done the wrong thing, but if I run, I'm worse than them. Yeah, just like this, just like Stephen. He knew they were killing him for the wrong thing, but he said, forgive them, they don't know. Why? You see how I went around? I want you to see that when anybody tells you that philosophy is abstract, this one, they don't know philosophy. That's why. It is a question asking activity. The questions are varied, but the touches on the assumptions, the beliefs, the presuppositions that ground the whole system we are running. A banking enterprise can start making huge profit by just how they change the philosophy that runs the bank. You can enter the bank and the big boss, the highest MD or something, will be a teller that day. And just that can change how the workers in the bank or that day are working. And that day they will gather so much and there will not be any queue there. It's the philosophy of the person leading. Then you can have another place too that The boss comes there, he's all bossy. Hey, 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 who is that? And the philosophy is running that to be the boss means you should shout at people, confuse everyone there, bring their profits down. Need a philosopher. When I say that, not just necessarily coming to study philosophy, but having the posture of a philosopher, thinking through and reflecting and proposing responses with a humble posture. Okay. So I have used that question also to cover some grounds for you. I hope I answered your question for you. Is there any other question? If there isn't any, we have closed. If there is any point of clarity to you can ask. You want to clarify something or point of clarification. You want me to say something. So your like yes, let's take Prince. There's a hand up. Prince Ahiaba. Please go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, Dr. Mouse.
Yes.
I would be glad if you could answer this part as how we can answer philosophical questions again. I wasn't really clear of that.
The thing
Hello.
is, you can, yes, I'm here. You can play back the recording when I post it. That's one. Put your mind at peace. You should listen to the lectures that have been delivered and recorded for you, all of them. Because in the discussion, I keep stressing how you should write. If I say assess the view, assessment, assess the view that informed consent, and this discussion should cover all of those. If you look at your course outline, you will see the first week we should do what is philosophy. You have a fair idea of what it means to be doing. I introduced you to ethics, then you should engage the ethical question of informed consent. I like where your drift is now. So when we load that also, then the whole class will benefit from question of what is philosophy. But I'm saying that as you listen to those lectures that we have posted in, you should listen to the details. You see that I'm at the same time dealing with how you are responding, how you are thinking, reflecting about the matter, the benefits you will get, and then how you can impact others. And I'm applying it to different contexts intentionally. So I move from religion, I come to politics, I come to law, I come to culture. I'm dealing with all those, even business, medicine. So you see that it applies all around. Now, how to answer philosophical questions? What is a question that is philosophical? It is not the one that you go and read and come and narrate. I'll ask you, account for justice as fairness, or account for Kant's deontology. When I ask you that, it's not a question. It is just storytelling, narration. That one, even if I've never stepped foot in a class at university or even in philosophy, I can tell you what Kant thinks is philosophy. I can tell you that straightforward. How? I just Google. When I Google what is philosophy, I get all that information. So we don't really reward you for your ability to recall what someone said in 1976. You see, we are in the world we are in now. That is not what is important philosophically. So we don't reward narration. I said all that in the lecture one. Description, how some people behave and what they said and what they did not. We reward you for what you think about it. We don't reward you for what someone said, but we reward you for what you think of it. So you see our philosophical question when you are being examined, and that is a positive, quality. We ask you critically examine Descartes' dream argument, for example. You will see Descartes' dream argument. So when I say critically examine, please open it out, assess it. What does the dream argument say? What does it mean? Analysis, open it up. What does it lead you to? What is its strength? What is its weakness? What is your view about it? You examine. When I say analyze, it just means break it down. That's all. So ultimately, when you break down a matter, when I say break it down, Kant argues for, say, consequentialism, deontology. Or J.S. Mill thinks that the consequences of an action should be the guiding principle for it being right or wrong. Look at the consequences. So what you did it benefit? Then I tell you, critically examine that view or analyze Mill's utilitarian view of ethics. When I say analyze, don't tell me, yes, Mill says that when an action is good, it means it benefited many people, and so his own is the quality, not quantity, and this full stop, we are finished. No, you haven't started answering the question. You just gave us the raw material. I want Banku and Oku Street. You're going to buy condo and cassava. Some smelling willy and Kaku and things. You put them in the kitchen, say food is ready. Oh. You just got your raw materials. After telling me briefly what he says, you are now going to start answering them. And that is what enriches you. So you see, yes, Mill says, because he critically examine his view of what? Utilitarianism or consequentialism. So you take the view and show what the view is. So you get some 10 marks out of 100, say, for showing me what the view is. Then you now come and tell us what it means. It means that for an action to be right or wrong, we measure it by its consequences. You are earning a mark. You can even get 20 marks for just that. Than your ability to even state what his view is. Because for his view, my dear friends, I can Google and get it. But what it means will be who asked me the question, say Ephraim's, or the one who asked me the question, it will be your interpretation of what he said. That is rich. I will benefit from that. When I interpret what he says, you will benefit from that. The interpretation must be right too. So you say, when he says it is the consequences that determines the rightness or wrongness of an act, that would mean that even if I stole some money, so far as I used it to take care of the poor, per this interpretation or per this view, that will be right, ethically speaking. You see, so you have started showing me what that view means. You are analyzing, you are breaking it down so we can see it. Oh, so that is what this guy's utilitarianism thing means. You then go further. He doesn't even emphasize the utility, the quantity. He thinks we should be more concerned about the quality of the outcome, the consequence, not just the quantity. So because it will benefit people to put plenty water into the sobolo, plenty water. Sobolo is a drink. You put water plenty. They say, see how I served your guest for you. I was able to serve plenty people. Hey, Ajaga. When we tasted, no taste, no spice, no. So the gentleman says, well, yes, we want to benefit plenty, but the benefit should be qualitative, not quantitative. That is Mill. Bentham thinks otherwise. So, and we'll engage you, so don't worry. I'm just using that as an example. So you can further go ahead. I'm showing you how to answer philosophical questions again. I've said it several times, but I'm using this scenario to help my friend who has the question. So you can show that. So this is another implication. It's the gentleman's view also means we will not just do quantity of the people that benefit, but the quality of the benefit we offer. Then you use an illustration. You see, when I use a Zobolo, at least it brings some clarity. Now you come and make your assessment of that. Even though I may agree with J.S. Mill on his view of utilitarianism, I think that we are not always able to measure the real consequences of an action. We thought that we killed only one person to save the 99. We took one person and threw him out of the ship or the boat so that we do not sink, because it was heavy. We were sinking. That person was too fat or too heavy. So we killed only one person and saved 99. So plenty people benefited from just the sacrifice of one person. You see, but it turns out that that one person is the only person who can steer the ship. You can say he can be the captain. So now we have thrown him out, and we cannot move the ship. We are at sea, and there's a storm coming. You see that when we wanted to throw him out, we thought that we are doing something that will benefit plenty people, 99 people compared to one. But we were not able to measure the full consequences of that action. So if we are going consequentialism, perhaps we may not be able to measure the full term. If people know who you will be, Kofi Annan of blessed name, United Nations General Secretary then. If people knew from his childhood that he was going to be a United Nations General Secretary, Nanka, when he sees the polo seller, he says, today mommy didn't give me one mommy's go. The polo Libya, he would have said, take all. So that we establish connection. We didn't know. So we are not always able to see the long-term effect. That's one critique that you yourself, you can raise against the view that you are defending. And then still respond to it. So you are doing your philosophical. You see what I've done so far? Stated the view, showed its implication, opened it out a bit more to show its utility, not this, then go further to show, because they critically examine. So you are showing the challenge we may have with that. Then you respond to it. Well, even though we are not always able to measure, I'm not sure I would want to be a mechanical person obeying rules without regard for possibility of the consequences of that rule on the people. The exam will start at 7:30, you come in late. No, so the person comes in late. And he's trying to explain to you, say, I'm not listening to anything. 7:30, it's 7:35. Go. Well, say, please, 7:30. He's trying to tell you that the people bringing the exam scripts saw him on the way and have told him to come and tell you that the exam will delay because they are now bringing the exam. So they stopped him. He even has information for you. Can you just listen and stop being mechanical about the rule? The rule says this. So I'm not listening to it. The rules are made for man, not man for the rules. So you can keep such a response that I have just to show that we may have a challenge with consequentialism. But the alternative, which is a rule-bound fixation, fixativeness on that's what the law said, may not also be helpful after all. Therefore, I will argue or I defend the view that perhaps consequentialism is, look at the language now, is more defensible than deontology or rule-based ethics. I didn't say so I think that consequentialism is the best or is the only ethical. If you say that, what's saying now? You did a beautiful soup and put in plenty salt. You have spoiled the soup. Language. So you can say that and end nicely. So then now your conclusion. So in this conclusion means you're going to put everything together. You have only 2 minutes. You are the women's rep for Ghana, maybe Minister of Women and Gender or something. We went for an international. CNN has come, giving you 2 minutes airtime to summarize the whole 3-day conference. Are you now going to look for slides to come and project? Okay, so day one, actually, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have any time left. So you have to learn to be concise, hit it. The whole 3 days conference, which you organize to bring attention to Ghana, aimed at doing something very important. Your conclusions should have that posture, philosophical conclusion. No embellishment. We don't have time for what year did they give birth to you? Your dog, does it bark? When did it give birth? When you want to tell a lady, I think that we have a future together. My brother, Vim, tell the sister, you are a very beautiful lady. I think we can spend our lives together. What do you think? Go straight to the point. Run around. To one will be a Brian. So philosophers don't like this. In the year 1976, they can't do this, and they no. It's not narration. Your conclusions say in this paper, in sum, what I have done in this is straight to the point, concise, simple, straightforward answers. statement, not long statement. We can't trace because everything I say we are going to already question. That we do that. That's what we do. So you want to be very simple in your language, very direct, rounded. In some, or this paper critically examined. Which program did we give us? Critically examined J.S. Mills's consequentialist theory called utilitarianism. I argued in favor of his view. Now you are telling me what you did. You are concluding, not what you are about to do. Your introduction tells us what you are about to do. Your conclusion tells us what you did. You see that? So I argued in favor of consequentialism or his utilitarianism. Full stop. I highlighted his view of what? Quality over quantity. And showed that we may have a challenge. You see how I'm speaking? We may have a difficulty always determining the actual consequences of an action. Yet, I am quick to show that the alternative, which is deontology or Kant's rule-based ethics, may not always be helpful, since it won't allow for possible exceptions. This is my language. You don't have to write like I'm writing. I'm a doctor. I came to level 100, 2002. I'm not because you are happy. So you can't have to, and you need not write like I do. And there are others too who are writing even better. So you can still write in your own language. Simple. You yourself should understand. Don't write things that I can't understand. You yourself, I can't. That's why I'm marking a that do you understand yourself? I can't read the thing I write. But some to write so well, and we pick them very early, and then by the time they are in level 400, they are already getting admission to big schools out there, because you can fish quality. Takes the wise to say. So you say all that and conclude and say, therefore, I think that utilitarianism is more defensible, is compatible. Maybe I asked you to compare the two, or whether we can have both. It's compatible with this, or it's more defensible than this, or it's so and so and so than this. I just used an exam question to show you how you write. Give your view, give the counter, write simply, avoid too many narration, storytelling, describing, and rather prescribe. This shouldn't be the case. And as soon as you say shouldn't, you have to give a reason, because if we did this and that, then this will be this. However, this can be the possible counter response. Nonetheless, my reaction to that will be this, that. And it's nice, rounded, with illustrations. Illustrations help to clarify, make the thing that is seemingly abstract a bit more accessible to you. So you illustrate, use cultural settings, use social issues, use real practical life instances. Yeah. Did I record this session? It's not recorded.
Yes, you did.
Did I record it? I don't see recording.
Yes.
Do you see that it is being recorded?
Madam, it's recorded.
Yes,
oh, thank God.
It's being recorded.
Thank God.
Yes, please,
I nearly got, I thought it was
Yes.
just, that was it. Okay, good. This will be very beneficial to the whole class, and I'll upload that. So my brother, I hope that the elaboration helped you.
Yes,
we still have some time. So let's take some more. We still have some time. I can take maybe 2 or 3 more questions before we round up. Keep your hand up if you have a question. Yes. If you put your hand, it will help me. Ephraim has spoken already, so if there's another hand, let it go. I'll take you before him. If not, then I can take Ephraim. His hand is up. Is there any other person who has a question? Okay, so let me take Nana Yao, Labi, and Pimdaku. Then afterwards, I can take it. Nana, go ahead. Sorry, I had to mute all. So Nana, please unmute and start again.
Hello, madam, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please, I want doctor. Who from the doctor? Why? I'm Brian Saminia.
Sorry.
Oh, no, don't mind me.
Dr. Nancy, please.
Yes, please.
I want to ask, can you I've seen an assignment uploaded on Sakai.
Yes.
And I want to ask, can you please explain for us? Because it's kind of confusing a little bit. Please.
What is confusing? What is confusing
Please.
about the assessment? The question is so clear. Let me see if I can see it. I said, read the reference. That has been given to you, the Ajay and Miles reference on informed consent. It is part of the compiled book. If you look at it, you see it there. You could also buy the book. I put the thing online. When I say the book, you can go and buy that book. You know, some people want to buy books. So the reference, the full reference is they can buy it online. If not, then we have permission, I think, and we have done some few copies from it and added to the compiled readings that I've asked you people to come and get. People are photocopying it, and that is so irritating. I don't know how to manage. Okay, let me take it off this record. So get it, but however we read the reference, get the reading, read that contribution by Ajay and Miles in that book, which I have referred to, course outline, and then answer a certain question that is there. I've added it to the question that I've asked. What is their response that they offer? The authors called Ajay and Miles. What response do they give to the question of ensuring that we haven't abused a person's autonomy, person's autonomy, and yet we haven't left the person also to what? To be harmed. So we haven't harmed the person, the principle of non-malfeasance, and we haven't deprive the person of that which will benefit him or her, beneficence. And yet, at the same time, we have protected, or if you like, preserved his or her autonomy. I ask you that question, I say, they are speaking, the authors are speaking from an African perspective. They make a case on what it means to be a person. So if you have read the text, you know, I'm asking you to just tell me what they say in response to this issue of ensuring what autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, but not from a general perspective, from a certain understanding of what it means to be an African human being, a person. They make some proposals there, then you can respond to it. Now I gave you a word count. Don't exceed it. Ask your level 200. There's a reason for that. You have to learn to put your thoughts together, like I was telling you about the women's organizer or a gender minister or something, you know, or a United Nations, you know, general secretary. You are the one. They are giving you just 5 seconds or 10 seconds to talk about COVID or something. Bring my projector, put it at page 1. You think you have that time? You should be able to think through everything that has gone on and speak in that 5 or 6 minutes and still touch on matters that are germane to what was discussed. You see that's what it means. So you should be able to put the thoughts together. 600 words is so good for them. I would have asked you to do 200 words. Okay, don't exceed it. If you exceed it by 1, you can get 0 for that. It's a training, we are disciplining us. Some of you too even like it that way. You don't have to write plenty, 600 words. So you read it, read the question, like I said, and then respond to it. Okay. I said if you plagiarize, you will get 0. 0. Say, not even 1 for the other. And there's a plagiarism checker on Sakai. It will catch you. When I see it, I won't take my time to go through. If you plagiarize, plagiarize means you take someone else's idea without acknowledging the person. If you take it verbatim, word by word, you have to introduce quote and close it. So if I'm saying what Kwame Dechi said, literally how he said it, or what Miles said, or what Ajay said, quote and unquote, I will have to introduce quotation marks, introduce quotation marks and close it nicely. And then show if you do that, then the plagiarism checker will not pick that. But if you don't, it means you are stealing the idea. Some too wait when their colleagues finish their work because they borrowed their computer to submit. Then they will take that submission and also submit. The system will catch you. I catch you most of the time too. This is not a general, it's just 1 or 2 people. So I'm very keen on plagiarized content. Okay. Some will take their friends' one and change the font size, make some stand and make some stand. Don't try me. Okay. But then do your independent. So read it and say, okay, it's according to Miles and Majawaj, according to Ade and Miles. When we are in such a scenario where we want to ensure that autonomy and so and so and so and so are all respected at once, then there is an alternative way, given that we have all these difficulties of ensuring that this, that a patient may want this and not that, blah, blah, blah. Given all of that, they propose X, Y, or Z. That one should read them.
It's good actually.
Now, for their proposal, my view is,
oh,
Brian, mute your mic, I beg.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, for their view, my reaction will be X, Y, or Z. But I think that even if this, then that, full stop. Then you bring it. If you write 10, 10, 10, 10, plagiarize 0, if you exceeded, you 600, 791, cut 0, pass. Then we grade it. You can always come back to that assessment. It's an assignment, a reflection paper. So whilst you are reading, then you are working on it. You can do just your first line and then go and read again. Come at night, you can come inside it several times. It's not a timed assessment. It is for you to engage the text. Otherwise, week 1 will pass, my dear friends. People would not have seen anything called philosophical question. They don't even know which animal that is. And then when you get to the 3rd week, you'll be asking things for week 1. We are doing only 6 weeks. This one is already gone. The second one is in person. We are praying for grace so that we don't have any issues. After that one, we will be able to determine whether we can continue with the in-person fully. But the online will always be there to add to your efforts. Okay? All right. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, please, madam. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But please, would the video be uploaded?
Everything. That's why I almost got worried. I wasn't seeing my recording tab anywhere on the screen. But I think it's there. Yes, right after this, I think I'm able to. We'll do 2 City Campus sessions too, live sessions for this week on the same themes. But if the emphasis, like what your session has been, if the emphasis is different, I think I can upload that also. That's why I say go to the channel. Imagine that I have to send you a link for all this. Then it means that you only have the one for your group. But if it's on the channel, you decide which one you think, apart from the lecture, which discussion you think is relevant. And then I keep advising those who don't know. If you have a night data, night because normally they are free or it is cheaper, you can wake up 12 midnight. Look at me, I work like before you see that late night, then I'm up uploading all the several videos because they can be very heavy. So you can also do that. Plan your schedule. You sleep early a bit, then you wake up around 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something like that. This is a sisterly advice. Then if you have any networks data, that time I think it's cheaper. You pull all those videos down onto a safe place on your machine or on a drive somewhere. Then now, at your own convenient time, which you shouldn't lapse about, you shouldn't run around. So I'll do it later. Procrastination, you're doing more than one course. So it will pile up and then you might be under pressure. But then when you have a little time, you go through, okay, this one is just the interactive time. So you can listen to it whilst you are sitting somewhere waiting for something else. And then the things that are relevant, you can be jotting them down, studying alongside the course manual that you have come to purchase. And then alongside the lecture itself, and you will do fine. So the Q&A are the question and answers. I plan to upload all of them. Okay. Now, finally, those that needed manual, they are still not on the site. Yesterday, I uploaded more than, if I'm not mistaken, about 120 students manually. Because ultimately, even if it's school fees, ultimately you pay. Then those that have paid, but because of the system issues with the university, it's taking a while. I have to do that because we have a relatively large class, and I don't want you to trail all the way back. So you are now catching up. So I told you to send me those who did. You can ask them. I have manually added them. Give me your ID. This one I need the ID because it is the ID that will work faster. And then give me the campus so that I don't put you in main campus when you are a city campus student. And I can do it only for courses that I teach. I'm not a superwoman. I can't go into other people's courses. You see, So don't bring me your econs or your social one. I teach philosophical questions. Even UGRC, I teach it, but I don't coordinate the groupings where we put you there. That one goes to the coordinator. He will do it. He's doing a good job with that already. Okay, so you can send me that. So give me your ID and your campus. If you are still not seeing the PHCL 102 on your course site, and then I can help you with that when I finish with my very busy schedule. It is not my responsibility. So don't, hey, why is that you are not doing that? When you go do the thing, then when they find out that you're a lecturer, oh, madam, sorry. Even if it's your friend, you shouldn't tell your friend that. Okay, I'm just helping you. Because it may take a while before you see it on your site so that you can do your work. Okay, all right. Those who already have it on your site and you send me, you are very irritating. Respectfully, don't irritate me. Go to the site, course site, go to Sakai, www.ug.edu.gh. Go and find Sakai. Go to the course site. Make sure it is not up there. Then go to the 9 dots up there, those square dots up there. Select it and check and be sure that you don't have the course registered as part of your courses for this semester. If it is not there, then you can bring me your details. I'll help you get the ID and what did I say? And campus. Then if you like, you can even add the code so that I'm sure that I'm not sending it to you. I think we can end now. And then I will be on standby to receive all questions that you may have, either on WhatsApp or email or on the course site. Okay. I wish you well. We'll do our in-person, God willing, next week. So you look out on look at the announcement I sent and go to the specific group you signed up. We'll repeat the same content. It won't be anything new. The in-person will still be, yes, please, the in-person will still be interaction. The lectures, I'll deliver them as videos because of your class size, so that you yourself will benefit. If I go and do a lecture for one group, and then another group, I do the same lecture. Sometimes you may miss something. So the lectures will be delivered as videos. It's fixed. It's always accessible. It's hard material. But then we can interact maybe more in person. So there will also be an interactive section. Okay. So the next topic after what we have done so far is business ethics, dealing with consequentialism and deontology and ethical questions. Okay. I wish you well. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. I'll look at your chat. So if I have to react to anything, I'll send you a general response on your WhatsApp. Take care.